Obviously, coming off a good week, sweep of a conference opponent, continue to pitch well, playing pretty good catch. And the bats are starting to come alive, which really happy about. Really like our work and feel like that's the team that we or that's the offense that we expect. So it's a good sign in conference for that stuff to come alive. Looking forward to this weekend. Wish we had a midweek game to talk about, but we don't until next week, and we'll just kind of go that way. So had a good practice here last night. Inter squatted, was really good. Played about an 8-inning game. Very competitive, and I liked what we got out of that. And with the weather here, we're just got a kind of an offensive day here today, and then we'll get ready for tomorrow for practice. Hopefully the weather's good, and hopefully get to play Baylor on Friday night. The weather doesn't look great, so we may have to adjust as the weekend goes. But with that being said, I'll open it up to questions.
Coach, an offensive day. I just looked outside. The weather, I know it's cloudy and stuff. What do you mean by that? I'm curious.
We'll just be inside in the batting cages, and we'll break our team up into groups and have a more focused offensive day. Is all that means.
Okay, gotcha. Now I have a couple kind of specific things I want to ask you about, but generally. I know obviously you had a really great, you opened the season on such a tear and, built up that massive winning streak. But, do you think now over these last kind of week or two with the level of competition you've been playing, is this maybe the best softball that you've been playing all year? Kind of where do you see yourself on the, progression?
Yeah, I think we're on the right progression. We're on the right trajectory, going upwards, playing I think we're starting to play our best softball right about now. So those are good signs. Obviously, you never want to peak too early. You want to win every game and you want to play as good as you can play. It's unrealistic to think that you can maintain a certain level, but the best programs still find ways, to win when they don't play as well as they're capable. So we're getting better at that. Obviously, with a 32-5 record at this point, we've had a lot of wins where we haven't played our best and we've still won. So that's good. So I like where this team is at, and we'll see where it goes.
Now I'm curious, is there any news on the kind of regional host site front being determined? Have you heard anything about that since we talked last week?
April 26th.
April 26th. Will that be an email or a press conference, or how will you find out? Or, I guess I'm curious.
I don't know. I think we'll be alerted by the NCAA because they'll send the qualifying sites out. They'll let them know. It won't be me. It would be to probably Jesse, since he's the one who's putting the bid in and does all that hard work. So I think he'll find out first. I don't know. They may just it may be all of us. We may all find out at the same time. I just don't know. It's so far. It's when things are out of your control. I don't put much stock in all the stuff because they do it at their pace.
No doubt. And the last thing I'll kind of ask you about is I'm also wondering, is there any word on the AJ Ferrari front, if he'll be rolling through, or I've kind of heard whispers about it.
I'm not sure AJ Ferrari wants to come down here. I've been known to wrestle, and I don't know that I'd be scared if I was him. So I'm not sure he's got that kind of grit, but we'll see. We'll see.
Coach, that's awesome. And one thing I was wondering about when I wrote out some questions for today was, obviously you're such a baseball guy and a softball guy. You've been around it all your life, but I know ceremonial first pitches aren't necessarily like a huge part of the college diamond sport game. I don't know how many you've been a part of, but I'm curious. Do you kind of have a favorite first pitch that you've seen, or one that comes out to mind, or does AJ Ferrari take the cake?
No, I think Chris Young was my favorite one because he threw a ball so poorly. We're going to have to put face masks on everybody involved. So that may be the funniest one, but I don't know. I've been part of a lot of them that have been really cool, and I don't know that I have a favorite one. But I've seen some really cool things and been a part of a lot of neat things through my years. I've had a lot of great experiences and big games, being on the field for some big bowl games and national championship games, and so I've seen a lot of cool things, but I don't know that anything, I enjoy them all. It's a special day. It's a special moment for those people. And maybe my favorite one was last Saturday when our new president, Dr. Schrum, was out here. She's been a big supporter of our program for a lot of years, even before this. And it's really cool to have her. Obviously, I'm a big fan of President Hargis and his wife Ann. They've been great to us my whole time here. But it was really cool. I've known Casey and Darren for probably 5 years now. Met them through some mutual friends, and they've just always been around here and hung out here and come to our banquets, and and now to have her as the next president here at OSU, that may be at the top of our list.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. I'll tell you, I've been a part of many press conferences and I've talked to a lot of people in OSU athletics, but I think that might be the first. I think your jacket that you're wearing might be kind of the first one I've ever seen like that. So speaking of cool things, I wanted to throw that out. That's a pretty cool jacket you got on.
I'm a cool guy. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll talk to you this weekend.
That was a joke. So.
Hey, Coach, I just have a couple questions for you this week. What's the weekly scouting report saying on Baylor?
Experienced, fast, got some good arms that have been around. So it'll be a dogfight. We're going to go up against a good staff. Glenn's been around for a lot of years. Really good softball coach, even better guy. It'll be a fight. I know that. We know that. We're going to have to play good softball, and I'm glad we're playing here. I'm glad we're catching them off a COVID week that they had some struggles with. I don't say that in any negative way. I'm just, any advantage that you can get, I'll take. But they're playing well. They've, I was just looking at their numbers. Their offense is solid. Their pitching is, like I said, Rondoni's been around here for a lot of years. He's been one of the better pitchers in the conference. Holman is another kid. I think she's got married, so she's got a new last name as well. But she's a hard throwing kid. Will be in the 70s. Can be erratic at times, but has a really good changeup, so it makes it tough. So they're going to be good. It'll be good softball. We're gonna have to play well.
And yeah, this is going to be undoubtedly your hardest Big 12 opponent you've faced this year so far. Is that daunting at all, or is that just something you don't think about?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't discount Iowa State. I know they're 0-9, but they'll finish in the middle of this conference. I think they're really good. I think they may not have the pitching staff that Baylor's got, but they probably have a better offense than Baylor has. So we'll see how that goes. But when we jump out here and start playing games, you can throw all that stuff out. Whoever's playing the best on that day will win. So I'm not too caught up in Baylor or anybody else. I'm more caught up in what we do and how we focus on what we do and how we prepare the way we know that we need to. And if we do all that, we'll be just fine.
And then last question from me, and it might be too early in the week, but do you know what rotation you're going with on the mound this weekend?
Kelly.
All right, easy answer.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. I don't think that's a big secret.
Hey, Coach.
What's up?
So I just have some questions about so going into Big 12 play. There's 3 more series left against Baylor, Texas, and OU. Definitely the top of the conference. What's kind of the team's mindset going into this final stretch against the tougher opponents? You kind of answered that earlier, but just maybe some more.
Yeah, I don't see any difference in our mindset. I mean, every game is important to us. These are just conference games, and it's a little difficult because you're playing them 3 in a row, and everybody's got a lot of time to prepare and watch a video and figure out who's going well and how they're getting out and how they're getting or how they're having success. So you try to change that, right, or stay on what's going well if they're not having good success. So right now, our mindset is just about getting better. I keep telling them we are our own worst enemy or our own best friend. This game's about us. I mean, like I tell them a lot, we need to take Cowgirls softball to them. And if we do that, we're one of the best teams in the country. And so the mindset is just getting better here each day. The mindset was facing Kelly and Logan and our other pitchers yesterday in an inter squad game and treating it like a game. And it was competitive, and there were some runs scored. There were some great plays made. There were some mistakes, but there was a lot of good stuff and a lot of really good softball players running around on our field on both teams. And so we're just worried about us, Parker. I know that sounds cliche, but it's what good teams do. They're not looking ahead to anybody. They're just worried about if they know that if our team plays the way our team is capable of, we're really good. And so that's the focus.
So when you are playing in the 3-game series, after each game, are you and the coaches sitting down and going through each game specifically, or do you just have a specific game plan for those 3 games and you're just kind of going to stick with it?
I think we go into the first game with a game plan, of what we're going to do, and then knowing that you're going to have to adjust it. I mean, these coaches aren't going to keep doing the same things over and over again. Like Coach John, the way he calls a game, the way Jeff, will put together a plan, him and Vanessa, and they'll put together a plan, and Coach John and I will put our 2 cents in on that as well. And, if John wants our opinions on the pitching, we'll give him those. If we'll talk about our defense, we'll talk about different things. We'll go back, and I like to go back and watch our games, as soon as they're over. It's what's nice about them being on ESPN Plus, or we have video systems that we use, and we get that stuff and go watch. And a lot of times we're focused on our kids. Again, we watch the stuff, but we really focus on our kids, knowing that when we match up against teams, it's a good matchup for us. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but we look at everything, and things that we did all week long. Are our kids able to put that into play? And the answer is not always yes. I mean, they have great weeks of practice always, and then you get into games, and there's pressure, and there's umpires, and there's people in the stands, and there's the internal pressure that these kids have. It's not always easy to take that into a game. It's what the best players do. They're able to take what they're doing each week and put it into a play. So, some kids that get off to a great start, it's contagious. They keep rolling along, like Factor, had a great weekend, had the big hit on Friday night, and then continues to just kill it all weekend long. I mean, imagine when you hit a walk-off home run, not like it's not a walk-off, but a go-ahead. It's like a walk-off. And imagine how your chest feels that next day. You walk with it out a little puffier, and that carried on in the way she performed all weekend long. We had others that performed very, very well, but it just it's so important to just take what we've been doing all week long and to implement that into the game. So we as the coaches will look at that. We'll talk about it. We'll get frustrated. We'll be happy. You win games, and you got frustration with some kids and happy about other kids, and you're just trying to figure out how to get it all working the same. And that's the hardest part.
Do you think that the lineup will change much in the coming weeks, or is that going to be pretty much set in stone going forward?
Well, we have a unique situation here where we have some pretty good kids that aren't some talented kids that are good enough to play that don't get to play every day. There's kind of been a rotation with Richburg, Alexander, Doggett. Busby was kind of in that too, and she's solidified that where she's not coming out. We know she's feeling good, right? Richburg and Alexander probably a little bit ahead of Doggett right now, but it's like there's something about playing time, right? It's the only thing that we have as coaches that we can kind of hold them to. And it doesn't mean that they have to get hits. We've been talking to them a lot about just having quality at bats. It's a little deal that, like, if you see me writing on my lineup card during games in the third base box, I'm kind of marking quality at bats. And there's a lot of ways to get quality at bats. They're not always hits. I gave Allison a quality at bat this weekend after a strikeout. And you go, well, how has that happened? Well, she saw like 10 pitches and she just struck out. She fouled about 6 balls off and struck out. But I mean, I gotta, in my mind, that's a quality at bat. And so that's been something that John could kind of asked me with some of our kids that maybe they're putting a little bit too much pressure on themselves. How do we alleviate that? Well, maybe we're going to start talking about quality at bats more instead of hits and that kind of stuff. We really don't talk about hits. With some of that we talk about, we've made it more of an emphasis here. So the lineup is kind of what you see. We got Hobson kind of dangling out there that needs to play, just having a hard time getting her in there. Lacks some experience, lacks some defense of trust in me and the staff. We're really big on when Carrie throws, the defense is huge because she gets strikeouts, but she's not a strikeout pitcher. We get a lot of ground balls and we need that. So Kelly is a little different in her, in her way. So the lineup is kind of that little rotation. We may tinker around with some things, but you're going to see the same people that you've been seeing. I think that's who you're going to see.
And finally, so I know we've asked you questions about Coach Shippey before, but I'm also, talking about her in a story. So just, can you tell us about Coach Shippey, what she's meant coming over this year, and just kind of what she's brought to the coaching staff?
Yeah, she's just she's brought a lot. I mean, she's not afraid to voice her opinion. She's strong. She's convicted in what she believes in. It's something that I really love because she's it's not easy to be young. We got 3 males on staff to speak your mind. And it's something that I've always tried to empower her to do, but I'm sure it's not always easy. And we're all pretty adamant in our feelings too. So it's probably, and being older, it's not easy. I commend her for sticking up for what she believes in. She brings a form of passion here. She really cares about this school, about this program. I read a deal online about her that Megan's been doing. I'm not sure who's writing those, but I probably should know that, but somebody is doing a great job of the Cowgirl way. And hers, I read last night, it kind of made me cry, kind of made my eyes now kind of well up some, because when people care about your program like you do, it's a big deal. And so she just brings a lot of that kind of everyday stuff. The little things like really matter to her, and they matter to Jeff and John too, but they really matter to her, that she can get that across to our kids. And she's a little closer in age. So a lot of times our kids, it has a different meaning from her at times. I wish I could get some of my kids that I have some frustration with to like buy in to that fact. It's like they have to go through this like struggle for why I don't know, but I wish they could just get past it and go, okay, I'm yours. Like, tell me what you think, like, help me through the process. And it's just not the way that we're programmed. We have to struggle first. We have to suck to actually like go, okay, I need to like pay attention and make every or listen to every word that people are saying, and figure out what fits me best. You know what I mean? And so she just brings a lot of really good things to us. She's got great knowledge of the game itself, not just outfield or infield or hitting or base running. She's a complete coach. She's understands this game, and for somebody her age, is well beyond her years in that deal. She's still got a lot, to learn, like all of us, but does a great job and really walks in this office each day ready to get better. And I believe she goes home at midnight and she thinks about how she's going to help get better that next day. And that's all I want from my staff is people that care, that care as much as I do. I'm probably the fourth best coach on this team. And I'm not afraid to say that. I want to put myself around better people every day. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around people that I'm a better coach and I want people that are around me who are better so I can learn, so I can have an open mind about taking this program up and then managing the things that I do best. And so it's legit to have these people here, and she's one of those.
Is it special for you to have someone on the staff that means so much to you that you also coached? Is that something that you think about maybe?
Yeah, I don't, it's weird. Like, I don't think of her as a former player, to be very honest. Like, I guess if I sat back here, it's easy to do, but like when I see her each day, I don't look at her and go, oh, well, she was on our team and we coached her. I don't think like that. I don't think like that about Maddie Sue, who's a GA here. Like, I don't look at them like that. I look at them as coaches. I look at them as real people. Like, I don't look at her as being younger. I don't, because she doesn't act young. You know what I mean? She just acts like a coach, like you ought to act. You know what I mean? I'm probably the most immature person here. So we've got them all rolling around here. They're great people, but I don't look at her as, I don't know that I like value the fact that she played here like in that way. I value it, as you know, but I don't value that like that on a daily basis here. When she walks in, I'm like, okay, here we go, and I don't say, well, she's just 3 or 4 years from playing here and she doesn't know anything. She's been bred to coach. I mean, it's really hard to look her parents in their eyes and go, your daughter was a finance accounting major here, at the top of her class here, got every award that you could win here, and now you want to coach. Like, are you sure this is really what you want to do? Like, you know what I mean? But you have such a better chance to impact people coaching than you do in anything. And it fires me up. Like, at first I thought she was an idiot for wanting to coach. I'm like, how could you coach? You work so hard in school and now you want to coach? Are you sure? Like, but coaches don't know. I don't know very many coaches that get into this because of money. You know what I mean? Money may come at some point in time, but like, I got back into this because I knew that it was what I wanted, is what I was missing. I'd never even really dreamed about being a head coach. I thought I'll be with my best friend Tim at one of the best programs. I can be there forever, secure. Why would I want to leave that? You know what I mean? You want to leave that because as a head coach, you have the ability to maybe impact even more people in a different way. So it's not for everyone, but it fits me. And I think it'll fit her too as she goes along in this. I think she's head coach material for sure.
And finally, was it your decision to make her the first base coach?
I just think it was the right thing. I mean, John's the pitching guy. He could coach third. I really want Jeff in the dugout. Jeff could do either or, but I think as the hitting guy, there's some things that are being said, during games that you need to be in there for. And she brings a lot of value to our offense. When we're running, we take a lot of pride in running the bases, and she can really help out on that. So it's a natural fit. Her being pregnant, I think we probably will have a talk at some point in time how long she wants to stay out there. So we'll have to kind of figure out on that too. Maybe we'll get far enough along through the season where it won't be a major effect, but at some point in time, we may have to take her out of there, just, having or being pregnant at this point.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Is that all for Coach? Gotcha. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
And I believe Shy is on here. So I will go ahead and open it up for you guys to ask Shy questions.
Chyenne, I don't see you on my little Zoom bar with all the participants. I'm guessing you're here, though. I trust Megan.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. Now that you spoke, I think it replaced Gavin. So.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Now I just had a couple questions because we haven't talked to you in a while now. First off, I wanted to ask you, you started off the season so great as a team and built up on that win streak a little bit, but now I'm curious, getting into Big 12 play, and y'all are now winning consistently in Big 12 play against this quality of opponents. Do you think you're playing some of your best softball right now, or where do you kind of see yourself on the trajectory of improvement this year?
I don't think we're playing our best softball yet, which is a good thing because we're beating teams still. And we had 2 good games against Texas Tech, which our offense finally opened up a little bit. So that was good to see, and kind of good momentum to go into this week and on against Baylor. Our Iowa State games were a little bit closer, but a win's a win, so we'll take that. To not be playing our best softball yet, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Coach said, you never want to peak too early. And one thing I was going to ask you about is, and you're probably the perfect person to ask because you had some contributions to it, but how I don't know if the word is relief or exciting or what the word is, but what was it like to finally kind of see the offense put up some big numbers and put up some double-digit scoring games after maybe a little bit where a rough stretch?
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to see finally because we know that's what we can do. I mean, our whole lineup is, we're dangerous. So for us to not be producing like we know we could has been frustrating. But we getting runs pushed across a little bit, but to finally see it open up, it was just probably more of a relief for the pitchers because they've just been grinding games trying to keep us in it. We're getting one here and there, but to finally just open it up and score a bunch so they can just go out and throw because our defense is good. So that was probably the best thing to see is that they can just go throw.
For sure. Chyenne, how important is it to host a regional?
It's really important. That's what you want. You want to be at home, and especially with our fans and everything. Who wouldn't want to be at home, especially in Stillwater? We got a good fan base. So, it's important. We want it. We know there's some stuff up in the air right now, but it's out of our control. So we'll see what happens in a couple weeks.
Were you kind of bummed when the news came out that, instead of basing who would host on records, that it would be kind of up to a committee or the NCAA? I guess I don't know exactly who. It seemed like y'all were kind of a lock to host a regional if it's solely based on record. Where do you come out on all that?
I was a little bit more confused, why put that in? But because we've hosted multiple tournaments this year and we've had 4 teams, so I don't. We're capable of doing it. I don't know what their stipulations or protocols are, but we can host. So hopefully we get to.
I was gonna say, Coach G said April 26th is when it goes down. I don't know how you'll find out, but is that a date you kind of have circled on your calendar, or are you not paying attention?
I didn't even know there was a date for it, so maybe I'll be looking a little bit more close now. But we'll see. Hopefully we get one. We should get one, but
For sure. And the last thing I'll ask you, I guess you could say any number of things on this guy, but do you what would you think of potentially AJ Ferrari rolling through to pitch a first pitch? I know there's been kind of a campaign among the team to maybe get him in Cowgirl Stadium. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it would be good. He has a bunch of energy, I guess, that you can see. Big personality, so I think our crowd would love it.
For sure. Well, thank you for your time, Chyenne.
Thank you.
Chyenne, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So my first question is, how much time do you guys spend a week scouting your upcoming opponent? Is that something you focus a lot on, or is that more you just focus on yourself?
We mostly just focus on ourselves. Like, we'll look at their pictures a little bit just to have an idea, but also, I mean, you can know what they throw, but it's a little bit different when you get in the box and actually see it against yourself. So we don't spend too much time really just on ourselves. We play our game. We're going to win. So.
Well, and so then what are you seeing from the Baylor pitchers?
They have Rendoni, I think is how you pronounce it. She's been there for a long time. And she's been good, but I think she has a changeup. I think that's one of her best pitches. So just knowing that, we'll have a pretty good plan going up to the plate.
And so my last question is kind of building off what Sam was saying. How do you keep the offense? Friday, obviously you were the only run scored, but Saturday and Sunday you guys put up double digits. How do you keep that momentum carried over into this upcoming series?
Just having good at bats. Like we were tough outs Saturday and Sunday, like hitting the ball hard, like putting pressure on them, and like even like if our bats weren't didn't get a hit, our at bats were good. We're having quality at bats. So just if we do that, we'll be fine. Just being tough outs.
Thank you, Chyenne.
Thank you.
Hi, Chyenne.
Hi.
So I just have a question about. I'm doing a story about Coach Shippey, and I was wondering, just what has she brought to the team this season, and just how has she helped the players? And again, what does she bring?
I probably can't say enough good about her as she has come in. I'm in the outfield, obviously, and that's where she's at. And we work together a lot, and we're on the same page all the time, which helps. And she listens to me. I listen to her. Like, oh God, I don't even know what to say. She's awesome. She's been the best. Probably thing to be added for me personally. I mean, she's awesome. Hitting, defense, and she's close in age with all of us too. So that's a big deal. Well, not a big deal, but it helps as a coach to have someone, her and Maddie Sue, they're real close in age, help us out a lot, not just with softball, with anything. So I really appreciate her.
That was kind of my next question is, do you think that you're able to open up to her more because she's younger, or being able to, she understands more because she's, not super far removed from playing herself. So do you think that benefits the players instead of maybe going to talk to the other coaches?
Yeah, a lot, because I mean, she also played for the staff. So she knows, everything that if we're struggling, if we're not, she knows how the coaches are, personalities and everything, why, something happens, why are they coming from that position? If we're not seeing the same eye to eye. So it's just good. She's good for the staff and for the players and everything, program and all.
So do you know the story behind the Starburst? Why she gives you guys Starburst, or I think it's Starburst whenever
it is Starburst. And honestly, I don't. When I got here, that's because Coach P was at first, my freshman year, and she gave out Starburst. I'm not sure the story. And then Shippey gives them out now as well. There's probably one, I'm just not sure.
What are some of the things that, Coach Shippey says to you when you make it on base? Because I see a lot of, smiles, a lot of laughing. Is that kind of like a moment of brevity sometimes for you guys?
Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes she just, says something dumb or whatever, we get on, get a walk or whatever. We get like a little dinky hit. She's like, "Oh, you crushed that one." Just happen to get on, just stuff like that. It's just whatever. It's fun.
Thanks, Chyenne.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey Chyenne, before we hop off, I'm curious. Could you tell me a little bit about the inter squad games that Coach G was telling me about? I guess they're super competitive. I'm curious. How are the teams broken up? I don't think there's a lack of talent. I'm curious. How do those go down?
Yeah, so we had one yesterday actually, and they're broken up pretty even. So like one team has like our middle infield on it. So Kylie and Carly are on one team, and then like the other team will be Sydney and Allison at the corners, and then the outfield's broken up just however. So it's not just like starters and non-starters, if you will. I mean, they're very even. The lineups are even, so they do get competitive. Kind of some trash talk here and there on both sides. Pitchers are even. Yesterday, my team, we had Kelly and Maddie Boyd. The other team had Logan and Savannah Evans and Caitlin Carlisle, so pretty even as well. I think the score is pretty close too, if I can remember, but they're competitive for sure. We like it. It's good competition.
I don't doubt it. I assume Carrie and Kelly, are they broken up?
Yeah, Carrie didn't throw yesterday because she got most of the innings this past weekend. Kelly didn't get very many because we run rolled. So Kel threw and Logan threw. So it's pretty fun.
Gotcha. Who do I doubt the coaches play a true like coaches role. I'm guessing they're more, just kind of walking around looking at both teams or talking about both teams, or are they truly split up? You got one coach, one coach in the other.
They're on both teams. Coach is the third base coach for both teams, giving calls. They're still acting as coaches. Jeff goes from dugout to dugout for whoever's hitting, helping out. Shippy stays up first, obviously. But no, we run plays, everything on both sides.
That's awesome. That sounds like a fun time. Did you win?
I think we ended up winning. I don't know, I think it was like the 8th inning. He was like 0-0 ball game. Whoever scores, both teams have a chance to score, but no one ended up scoring in that last inning. So I guess we tied.
Yeah, that's a classic coach's move, isn't it? To manipulate the score a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
One more thing, Chyenne, just kind of a little bit of a follow-up, sorry, about you and Coach Shippy. Is there something specific that she helped you work on with in the outfield? Was there something that maybe you were struggling with that she helped you clear up?
Just a bunch of little stuff because she played out there. I think she played every position on the field actually, but she played out there during her time, and she just helps a lot, like little stuff. I mean, outfield, catch a ball, throw it in type thing, but it's our positioning. We kind of put in a new how we position with each pitcher type thing because they're all different where they throw, how they throw. So we got to be on the right side of the field for them. Just putting that in, like she's invested in us out there. I don't know. I appreciate it because outfield can get overlooked sometimes, but she doesn't. She makes it important. She really, I don't know. She works with everyone, not just me. The whole outfield. We've gotten a lot better since she has come in, so it's good.
So would you say that she's the specific outfield coach?
She is. Yeah, she is. It's her. She's out there. Then Jeff's with hitting. Coach, she's more with the infield. He works with us too. But yeah, it's Shippy. She's out there with us.
Perfect. Thanks again.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all for Chyenne? Perfect. Thank you, Shy.
Yes, thank you guys.